Good morning and welcome to episode 94. And today it's a case of lights, camera, action. And we're rolling with a man who's been behind the lens since 2006. You don't look that old.
Oh, fine.
Hey, what, hey? Welcome to the show. Please, for our viewers and listeners, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Rob Baines. I am from Rob Cam Productions. I'm a filmmaker that provides various film services for businesses who want to grow with the power of film.
Well, very good. So basically, I'll give some homework. Your story starts with a camera in 2006.
That's
what
true.
was your first video you ever made, and do you still cringe when you watch it?
Oh, you know what? I think there's some videos I cringe about, but I do look at it as a sort of, and this is like my progression. Like this is where I've come from. The first video I ever made. It was basically 10 years. It was basically 10 years of filmmaking, just as myself.
Yes.
And I turned it into a business. So I turned my hobby into a business, which is what I've always loved about what I do.
Yeah.
The first video I ever made was a magic show.
Yeah.
So I did a magic show, and it was actually my first little bit of visual effects. I turned one of my school friends into a cat. And then when they turned back into a human, they still had the cat tail, which was a bit...
Excellent.
Yeah.
Like, oops, the magic didn't quite...
I didn't get the spell quite right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so it was like all playing with comedy and just storytelling right from the off. And that's what I love about filmmaking.
So obviously, in terms of your passion, tell us, how did that even come about?
I think it's just from what I've seen on TV. I've always been very inspired by the shows and the films that I've watched on television and film, and I've always been a lover of sci-fi. And I think one of the things that got me was like, I've seen the like visual effects on TV.
Yeah.
It's like, how can I do that? How can I recreate that? It's always been like a sort of challenge to sort of see what I can do and then sort of take that story a bit further. And I think I think even before I picked up a camera,
right,
I was always storytelling.
Yeah.
Like the first, when I went on holiday, I always had like a blank notebook.
Yeah.
And I used to like draw comic books.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my first storyboarding.
It probably was, wasn't it? No, exactly.
So yeah, it's always been, I love telling stories.
Good.
Where that's my own stories or the people's.
Yeah. So reading your bio and looking at your website, you were saying you joined YouTube fairly early. So it must have been a bit of a wild west back then. It was just
definitely, it was different. It was totally different. I think, even I started doing vlogs very early on, before it was popular. It was sort of borderline home video, sort of capturing moments. When I was younger, I literally always had a camera in my hand. I was always blogging things because I knew that someday it would be very valuable to me to look back on these memories.
Yes, of course.
Sort of seeing where I came from. And I kind of wish I still did it now, but I'm just a bit too busy to be like holding a camera all the time. But I do value having all those memories because people always say like, I wish I sort of
absolutely
had video evidence of like all this.
So what were your parents
stuff.
like? Was it was a case of, will you put that camera down? We're eating tea.
No, they all my life they've encouraged what I do.
Excellent.
The first camera I had, I basically nabbed off my parents. it was just like a small digital camera that it was back in the day when it was a digital camera, but it did video instead.
Oh my gosh!
This is a revolutionary thing, and I just, as soon as I knew that, I was making films.
Good.
All, whatever chance I got, I was just, never put it down. And they've encouraged it, and they've, throughout my hobby, they've encouraged it and funded my hobby. And it's their encouragement has engaged me to turn it into a business.
No,
turn it into a business and just grow with it, get better at it. And just, so encouraging.
No, it's very nice. So again, looking at your background, you've dabbled in comedy, fan films, documentary, shorts. You were saying about magic.
Yeah.
Which one do you feel, if there is one, which one do you feel at home with more? Or do you like everything? But what I'm getting at, Rob, is some of the aspects, like a bit of comedy, a bit of magic, they must have all of their alluring things to it.
Yeah, I think it's just, I love the storytelling aspect of it. I think that with fan films, it's taking something that people are already familiar with.
Yes, of course.
Creating something new with it. Like I said before, with recreating visual effects.
Yeah.
Once I got into the superhero genre, I was like, I want to be Iron Man. I want to be Thor. I want to be all these different superhero characters. So why not? Let's see if I can do it.
Yep.
And yeah, I think it's just it's just so visually engaging. I think that's probably what makes my content different to other people's content, because that's the sort of the unique selling point, the sort of the uniqueness about my content. I don't often get clients asking for giant explosions in their promotional
which is a
video.
shame.
It's a shame, but I'm very, very excited when people do want to try something a bit different.
Yeah.
Which it's always, in this day and age, it's important to be different.
It is.
So
Makes you different from the rest of the people.
So I do. Are you sure you don't want an explosion?
I'm sure. Yeah, exactly. So again, in terms of your early life, you said you were self-teaching about Adobe After Effects and about your creativity. And again, I'm self-taught in terms of my scripting.
Yeah.
And I understand from your point of view, it can be exceptionally frustrating, long days at the keyboard until it goes click. So, again, in terms of special effects, you must look at it and go, I can do better. I can do better.
Yes, I've always been very competitive with myself.
Yes.
I think, it's one of those things. I'm not competitive in comparison to other people. I don't compare myself to others. I just compare to myself to where I was last week.
Yeah.
I'm so competitive. I mean, it was even when I was like sort of recovered from an injury, I was always very competitive to get back to where I was. Not giving up, just trying new things, because it keeps things interesting.
It does.
One thing about my visual effects background was when I was studying at college, because any chance I got through my education, if it was a school subject or college subject, is always going down the path of content creation and filmmaking. When I was in college, it got to a point where I went on to a media studies course, or media productions course, and they basically said you got graded on how much you've improved.
Yes.
And the teacher said to me, "You're already too good at what you do, you have to. I think you'll have to teach yourself something, and then we'll grade you on that, and then maybe you could teach us."
Good.
So that's when I started. I was thinking, well, what can I do? Well, I've always wanted to do After Effects, which is the program that I use for visual effects to this day, and I started making videos where I think the first visual effects video I probably did on After Effects was turning my friends into a microwave and a toaster.
Nice.
That's on YouTube. So it was like a sort of thing about global warming. You sort of have to make it about something.
Of course you do.
Because it's a college project. So that's what I did. I sort of, if you're ever familiar with like The Annoying Orange on YouTube, it was that sort of format. Again, quite comedic.
Yeah.
Sort of using comedy and entertainment to get a message across. That was the first thing I did. And then from there on, I just took it further and further. And to this day, there's always something to learn.
Oh, definitely.
To this day, I am self-teaching myself 3D modeling, 3D animation.
Wow.
Because that's sort of something that eventually, once I feel comfortable enough to offer it, I can offer it as a service in the future. But even then, like, I joined like courses for learning how to use Blender, which is the program that I'm modeling on. And so I was like, there's thousands of tutorials about modeling, and it's always a donut. I don't know why, but it's always a donut. I was like, I don't want to model a donut.
No.
So I took things a step too far, and I just modeled a full TARDIS interior.
Well, you would do.
Yeah, why not?
Absolutely.
That's the step up from donut to time and space machine.
Yeah.
I think that's, but it's because I was something I was wanting to make, something I was interested in. I just played with what I knew, and when I reached a problem, that's when I searched it up, trial and error. That's how I've always really worked with content creation.
Yeah.
Once I've fallen into a problem, I work it out.
Do you, using your YouTube channel, do you like document your errors as well for other people to see and for you to look back on?
Totally, yeah. I mean, like with my content, you sort of looking back on things. I'm quite a perfectionist.
Yes.
So with like, I mean, there's one point where I uploaded a video, and it was quite a visual effects heavy video, and I uploaded it to YouTube, and then I noticed when playing it on TV, I noticed something. That shadow's not in the right place. Take it down, put it back up.
Yeah, exactly.
So I suppose we're all our own like worst critic.
We are. I'm my own worst enemy.
So I always notice things that probably people won't even blink at. It's. But I think I look at the stuff that I did in the past and always think, how can I do this better? And it's always learning from your mistakes, and I'm constant. It's a constant journey.
Yeah, but I also think that if you think when obviously both of me and you are of an age where we look back at the origins of YouTube's, people were looking to be perfectionists.
Oh yeah, totally.
Whereas nowadays there's more relaxing about it. People don't want a staccato podcast where if I suddenly cock up a word, sorry, Lena, can we rewrite? No, it's part of everything and of who you are.
It's naturalness. Yeah.
It's natural. Yeah,
that sort of comes with long form content. The getting that raw energy.
Yes.
That conversation, like we're having now. We're just having a conversation. People respect that because you're getting the real deal. You're getting the trust.
Yes.
As well. You sort of trusting the person. If it's too, I think there's nothing wrong with having stuff that's highly polished and quite exciting to watch, but it's equally as important to get that stuff. Off the cuff.
The
filming.
realism.
Yeah, like posting stories of a moment.
Yeah.
For example, need to get those. I think varied content is important.
I think it is, Rob. But what I'm getting at is definitely in terms of that. The energy, I love that word that you've used, the raw energy, but everybody realising, I mean, yes, obviously this is a recorded podcast, but everybody then realising that we are talking live and there's no difference about that. If we make an error, we make an error.
Totally.
If we make an error, we make an error.
Yeah.
See what I did
if
there?
We make an error.
Anyway. No, definitely. So can I also ask in terms of when you very first started your YouTube, the channel, they didn't have like the power that they've got behind them. There was no taglining. You literally just had a channel.
It's evolved so much. I mean, to be fair, there was a lot more customization when I first started. It was like, if you sort of think of back to like MySpace.
Yeah, exactly.
There's so much customization. And I remember when YouTube had, you could customize your background and properly make it your own.
Yeah.
But then obviously YouTube went down the road of it's the YouTube brand.
Yes.
You've got to stick to what we do. So there's it was a bit more challenging to get your brand across.
Yeah.
So it's adapting to that. It's, YouTube has evolved, and you sort of change your content depending on, unfortunately, because obviously it's the bigger platform. You can't just say, you can change that back. We didn't like it that way.
No.
It's gone through stages of you can only. I remember when YouTube you were limited to 10 minutes.
Yes, absolutely.
And now you can upload you see people doing 24-hour long videos and stuff like now. So it's adapted so much, and there's the introduction to shorts, reels, that kind of thing. That really dynamically changes how you make content. And it's always changing. Even Instagram are changing the sizes of posts and stuff like that.
And videos and
it's you look at it and think, they've changed it again. I have to rejig everything. You just have to adapt, and that's totally what it is. I mean, when I first started my business, it was the emphasis was to have a promotional video for your brand. You sorted. Whereas now there's a bit more of a demand for that stuff's still valuable, having that polished bit of content, but having more content.
Correct. And a bit more human content. And that's what, bless, obviously, not that you overlap in any way to Adam and Hubspoke, but obviously he does videos, you do videos. That's fine. But one of the things that he says to me is that people are looking to connect somebody that they can connect to. Yeah. It's not a polished thing. They go, actually, Andy and Rob, they're talking really. I like that. And it's all about that, bringing it down to
personality.
Earth.
It's like, it's what I said to people. The vlogs, I know people, 90% of people don't want to be in front of camera.
No, they don't.
But it's important to do that stuff because you are getting that personality across, and they feel like, it's like, I said to someone today, it's almost like your first introductions are almost already there sorted for you. They already feel a trust and a connection to you before they even
Yeah, because
Media.
I've seen you in it. Yeah, okay. I do know, again, looking at your bio, you've got a serious editing suite under your belt. There's Premiere, Final Cut, Logic Pro X. So which one is your go-to and why?
For my editing, it's Final Cut. I'm very Mac orientated. It's Final Cut's my editing choice. It's very user friendly.
Yeah.
I've always used it really. After Effects is my go-to for visual effects.
Yeah.
I've experimented with other things, but those seem to work well with each other. And Logic, I pretty much use Logic for recording podcasts.
Yeah.
Basically, literally just capturing that kind of thing. I did dabble with creating music, but that didn't really. That wasn't my sort of forte. But yeah, so Final Cut is my go-to. It always gets switched on first.
Yeah, exactly.
When I switch on the Mac.
Good. So obviously we've mentioned some big names there. Do you have any tools that are sort of like under the radar, but they're your go-to ones? I mean, there's a couple of things. I've got like GreenShot, which is good. It's great for making like little screenshots, little grabs, but there's loads of extra. So what's a little utility that you can really sort of like use?
I use like the Rode app quite a lot.
Okay.
So that's mainly for like audio capture. That's quite good. I'm sort of experimenting a little bit with the likes of CapCut. That's my in experimentation sort of stages, because there's elements of that there's some AI tools on that cut down a bit of the workflow.
Yeah.
Which is quite useful. Not AI is like a sort of a touchy subject with like creative people.
Absolutely. I don't worry about AI. I wonder what the other vowels are blinking. Thank you, Edinburgh Fringe.
but yes, so like I use it for subtitling, because that's one of the like a very tedious.
It is,
very tedious part of content creation, but it's a necessary one, because it's if you're going through shorts and reels and stuff like that, naturally people are scrolling through the phones, videos on mute, so anything to sort of grab the attention of the audience, and just sort of just general accessibility, just widens your audience.
Definitely.
So yeah, I'm experimenting with that kind of thing at the moment. I can't think of any other tools really.
Well, again, according to your LinkedIn bio, you're currently training in Autodesk Maya, or is that?
Oh no, well I did when I was in when I was studying for my masters.
Yes.
I did a funny thing when I was at university. I studied TV and film as my main 3-year course.
Right.
And that was at Teesside University. And I did a weird thing, because at the time that was a school of arts thing, when they were sort of separating the colleges and stuff. And I basically jumped over to a totally different part of the university.
You do.
I jumped over to the School of Computing to do a master's in visual effects.
Right.
Because that was what I was interested in. And thankfully, I showed them my show reel for the kind of stuff I did in my own time, and the visual effects examples that I did throughout my uni course and before that. And they accepted me onto a course that I didn't have any other prior training to. So I had a lot of catching up, and Maya was one of the first ones that I started delving into 3D modeling.
Right.
Now, that was my sort of first taste, and it was a big learning curve, especially with a lot of the people in the class. They already had familiarity. I had a lot of catching up to do, so a lot of basically all my masters was just like, I need to just learn everything. It was I think my uni course, the 3 years was, I don't want to say easy, but I already had a lot of skills in my backlog.
Correct.
To go to.
Yeah.
So the production elements of it were pretty natural to me at that point. But the Masters was my first real push and real stretch for getting out of my comfort zone.
Which is I always encourage anybody to get out of their comfort zone, because it pushes you, doesn't it? And makes you learn new things.
Yeah, no, definitely. And yeah, Maya was the first thing. And so the only reason I haven't gone back to Maya is because it's bloody expensive.
Yeah.
So that's why I've gone to Blender, which is pretty much the same thing. It's more accessible.
Yeah.
It's a free bit of software that anyone can download and have a try. It's I think with anything, especially if you open up Blender or if you open up After Effects, first time looking at it is so daunting because there's so much going on.
Yes.
And even tonight, I probably only use 10% of the tools that are available on these things. It's just knowing where things are and the familiarity of like, what do you need? With Blender, I just like, can I add a cube? And then I can just sort of just change it from there.
Yeah.
And there's so much capability of both those programs, Maya and Blender, doing simulations that not useful to me at the moment, but I know those are there for when I need it.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting what you were saying. I mean, I've been very lucky this week, touch wood. I got 3 brand new customers, which is like very good for me.
Fantastic.
But one of the things that I'm constantly telling them is that when they go, yeah, I use Microsoft, and I'm like, you will do, but you will use 10% of Microsoft. You know, we all think, well, I use Outlook and Excel and Word, that's it. And I'm like, no. There's a myriad of other applications that come within your Microsoft application, and you can utilize them. What I'm going back to here is that your point, the pushing yourself, your Blender when I first launched Visual Studio Code, I'm like, oh my God, you know, and you go to whatever you need to do, but there are times when I go, all right, what is this option then? And then you're like, okay, and you end up down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But actually at the end of it, you go, wow, I didn't know. That's actually really useful.
I'll put that skill in the back door
Correct.
for when I need it.
Yeah, exactly. So that must be the same with you.
Totally.
You must be using Blender day to day in current projects. And then you go, actually, do you know what I want to do in here? I know what I want to do. I don't know how to do it, but let's explore. Yeah. And that must be a constant way you're learning as well.
Totally. And I think it does help making some, like, because as I said, like this 3D model is still very new to me, so I can't really offer as a service at the moment.
Yeah.
But when I feel comfortable enough, I mean, the stuff that I'm learning making this TARDIS interior set, I think it'll just click when I like open up Blender and make something new for the first time. I think it'll probably surprise me how familiar I actually am because I've learned all this sort of stuff. There's things like, when I was at uni, there was a thing called like nodes in like compositing and stuff, and I couldn't get my head around it. But Blender seems to have that a little bit, so I will have to tackle that at some point. But I think I'm at a better position to tackle that because I've got a better understanding of how things click and everything. So yeah.
So you've worked, according to yourself, you've worked with businesses and individuals. Any particular current projects, either you can tell or whatever, but what are the ones that stick out in your particular one that either pushed you or you look back and you go, I'm really proud of that?
I love the variety of the thing of my job is I love the variety. I'm a commercial filmmaker, so I don't do weddings. Because that's very much its own thing. Yeah. But what I love about what I do is the variety. I love doing vlogs. I love doing the podcast. It's been very nice being creative with that. I've been up and down the country quite a bit doing some promotional films for like various flooring companies. Right. Which is quite nice. Being quite a challenge because there's only so much you can do with like sort of making a floor look interesting. But I think I've done a good job. But it's another sort of thing of adapting to the new formats, because I found that for more recent projects, I've been doing like landscape videos, but then also making sure that it works for portrait for reels and stuff like that, and make it sort of sure it fits for both. I think it's weird, but when I've done like a really satisfying edit, I think probably the most recent stuff that I've done is the flooring videos. I can't say what flooring things it is at the moment, but they've been quite nice because it's been a very satisfying edit. Yes. I'm very much one of those people who like to edit to the beat and make it really satisfying to watch. There was another project that I did for a coffee roaster, a local coffee roaster, which was so satisfying to film. It was. I don't even drink coffee, but just seeing those little the beans going around and like cooking and stuff like, that's this. I was like filming it for ages in slow mo. I was like,
that's satisfying to watch.
So satisfying to watch, and I love the projects where the visuals tell the full story.
Yeah. You almost don't need any narrative. You just follow it. And
I'm very much a believer of showing over telling.
Yeah.
If you can show something over like spoon feeding the message, that's the perfect way of getting a message across.
Yeah.
I've done that for a few. There's only certain things you can do it on, but like that, showing the coffee roasting process into the final product.
Yeah.
You don't need to say anything.
You don't, do you? No.
It's satisfying. It sounds fine to watch. I did the same for one of my first client videos I ever did was for Acorn Dairy, which was a local company as well, and I was just basically showing the process of from cow to cup. So
right, okay.
So it's like showing the process of how they package things, and just the journey of the milk.
Yeah.
And that was another example, showing over telling. It's just you don't need to say a word.
No. Again, it's interesting. I mean, in terms of the work that you do, the video, but I noticed recently McDonald's, they've got an advert come where it is just literally a small part of the McDonald's breakfast muffin.
Yes.
And you don't need to do any, they've not put no wording on it, they've just done that, and you suddenly go, I fancy a McDonald's sandwich.
I mean, that's the whole thing of like brand awareness.
Yeah,
isn't it?
is.
It's like their brand is so clear. And I think that's really important for any business is just brand awareness.
Yeah.
If you build that up, then people will connect your brand to a particular thing.
Yeah.
And it's just being at the forefront of people's mind.
Yeah, but also we've had, recently we had Liz from Tiger Dove and Adam where they worked collaboratively together. So that podcast was an idea that I had. I'm like, hang on, I've got two companies that are almost like, you could look at them going, why are you working together? Because you're competing.
Yeah.
But what came out of that, Rob, and what I'm getting from you in terms of listening to you, as you will know, a brand is not just resilient brand. It's who I am, who you are, your work. I would want to look at any of your work. I would want to speak to you, watch a video done by you, talk to a customer who's talking about you, and that brand is just throughout, isn't it?
Totally.
And that must be very. The reason I started that conversation is that when you're doing, or when a customer comes to you and says, I would like a video, you must be constantly thinking, how do I get their brand, their messages, that love and energy, that they feel, how on earth do you transpose that into a video that when they look at it, they go, that's my company. But when I look at it, I go, that's their brand. So how on earth do you get a brand into a video message?
I think it's definitely learning about the person. I always sort of say I do get clients saying either they know exactly what they want.
No, they don't. That's just the world.
That's it. That's I have clients that they want exactly what they want. I was like, yeah, but that's not going to work. So I have to sort of toy it. And then I have people on the other end of the spectrum saying, I like a video, please. And then I was like, let's work out what you want, what messages you want to portray in it, how you want to portray yourself, how you want to portray your brand, what style content is. I am always very adamant that I, if possible, get to sit down with the person. Yeah. Even get educated so I know enough about the brand so I can sort of feel this is a good representation of them. Otherwise, if it's just, I think this is what they want, and it's like, I've seen this before, and this might work for them. I need to know who they are.
Yeah.
And get a feel for who they are and what style they're after and what will best represent them. Learning from them is the best way of getting content that will. Yeah,
and it's really interesting. I've been working with a customer recently where I've been trying to automate a project for them. They do a lot of manual stuff. It's like ridiculously amount of manual work that they're doing. I've helped automate it, but I remember the first conversation. I was like, right, so I spoke to them about the automation, and they were like, right, what's the first step? And I'm like, I need at least 2 hours uninterrupted via Teams call, because they're down south. I said, via Teams call, and I just need you to walk me through what you do manually. And it's like what you were saying. Yeah, it's easy, Andy. All we do is we do this, and this, and this. And I'm like, right, first step. Customer rings up, does this case. It's all about case inquiries. What happens if? And they were like, well, I just do that. I'm like, I know, but that's you. That's you just doing that.
It's natural. It's all everything's natural thing.
How do I program that? And then we literally ran 3 hours because, as you know, when you're doing a video and when I'm doing programming, I can't just fall out and go, I failed. I'm like, what do I? how do I do? A
Yeah.
computer is black and white. Here's what I got. What's the answer?
Yeah.
Yes or no? And I've got a route. And it took me so long to get them to understand. And that's what I'm hearing from you. I'm not joking to anybody here. We all have those customers. I know exactly what I want. And I'm like, no, you don't. I say that respectfully.
Yeah.
We all laugh because when, and again, I'm sidetracking. I had a customer where I've been working with my friend Darren, and they gave us a spec, Rob. And the spec was, look, there it is.
Yeah.
That's the spec of what I want. We politely went, okay, we'll use that as the basis. No, it's exactly what I want. This project's going on for 6 months now. We had a meeting with him, and I went, here's your original spec. Here's the actual spec. And he went, yeah, I thought I knew what I want.
Yeah.
But it's like you were saying.
It's where it's collaborating with them.
It is.
And a collaboration is a huge word in any industry, and especially creative industries. I mean, I collaborate with... I find, even when I was speaking to a potential client yesterday and finding out about their business, it's collaboration, experimental. It's experimenting, seeing what will work, what won't work, and just working with them rather than working for them.
You've hit the nail on the head there, because when you work with a client, and I don't care if you're in the music industry or the video industry, the IT industry, the social media, if you work with the customer, you can naturally set expectations because you've got that whole rapport with them. Totally. If I came to you and went, I want a video of a donut, I want a video of a donut doing this. Yeah. You then deliver that, and I go, no, that's not what I expected. What I actually wanted, I'm like, no, you told me you want a video of a donut. Now, reverse that. If me and you were talking and you get into, okay, so what do you actually mean you want a donut? When you deliver the final result, it's more in line with what I've expected. Right. So again, what I'm trying to ask you here is that because video is obviously quite an enormous amount of work you put in, at what point do you feel comfortable going, I've got you, Andy, I know what you mean now? Because otherwise you spend 5, 6, 7 days working on the video, and then I go, that's not what I asked for. So how do you manage those expectations?
I think there's a lot of back and forth. I think especially with when it's like more time, when I know there's more of a time commitment, like say if I'm doing like an animation for someone, I know that I need to get things right. Otherwise, if we get, we do the illustration, then do the animation, and then they say this bit's wrong, I'm undoing my work, and it's like, I need to get this right. So things like storyboarding is really important, so they can have a visual representation of what it's going to go. That kind of thing, there's a lot more prep, but I think it does depend on the project.
Yeah.
It totally depends. Like if it's a vlog type project, they may give some examples of things they've seen, things they like, sometimes the things they don't like about it, and then we work from there.
Right.
Sometimes it's down to how, I mean, I've got a lot of clients who thankfully come back to me quite a lot, so I know their style, I know exactly what they want.
Yeah.
And we work with them very, very much back and forth, and they're familiar with my work, and I'm familiar with how they want stuff. So,
well, of course. But again, that's down to the rapport,
totally.
That's down to understanding, that's down to this experience. I know what you mean now. Whereas again, if I came to you and said, I'd like an animation straight away, you don't know me. Well, you do know me, but do you know what I mean? You don't know what...
I do get it. Some people say, I want this, and I'll say, hold on.
Yeah.
The way I put it is to be more cost effective.
There you go.
To be more cost effective, we need to work this out and take the time before I even touch my computer, because I want to make this right for you, and I want to make this work for your budget, that kind of thing. Because I don't want to be going back and I don't draft 10. I don't want to be doing that.
Also, at the end of the day, it's like you told me it would cost this. It's now cost me 10 times more.
Why is it this much?
Yes.
Well,
yeah, exactly.
We didn't finish the
bit there. Yeah, exactly. Has there been any of your projects where I think if you can openly say there's been an oops moment, but actually the oops moment has turned round to the guy going, I love it. I absolutely love that.
Oh, that's a good question. I think there has been a few animation projects like that where they think they know what they think, they've got an outline of what they want.
Yeah.
And I honestly think, this is not going to work, so I'm going to just try a few different things. Yeah. And I'm like dreading it, so I'm like thinking, oh God. I know I got the feeling from this client. I was like, they're not gonna like. It's gonna like reset. Yeah. It was like I get some clients where they're like, I suggest something and then they come back with something completely different. I was like, okay, let's find some compromise here. Yes. And then and then literally I did send something. I was like, I'm dreading this response. Love it. Signed off. I was like, what? Hang on. I was expecting to be in like on this project for 6 months and you've just accepted it. And it's like,
absolutely right.
Fine, that's fine.
I'll take those.
And the paid straight away as well, which is even better.
What a brilliant one. What a brilliant one.
But yeah, no, it's and then again, sometimes you get the ones where it's like, it's not quite right and they want little small changes and stuff like that, which is fine. Okay. Until it gets to
the current I have exactly the same thing, so we don't know. Now, the current state of filmmaking, you were saying, popular programs such as Blender, they have actually opened the doors for a lot of budding filmmakers.
Totally, yeah. So accessible.
Oh, it is. And some of the things, what's your current state on, like I want to call it the indie filmmaking, but do you know what I mean? The up-and-coming people, what's your current state in terms of the software, in terms of the format, in terms of the quality that people are providing?
Encourage it. I'm very encouraging it because I'm very, as a filmmaker, you sort of expect, especially as a filmmaker that offers as a service, you sort of expect, no, you don't want to be doing it yourself. You need to, get a professional involved.
Yeah.
I encourage people to try stuff. It's so fascinating seeing what people can create.
Yeah.
And there's such a demand in it. There's, I don't even know how many videos get uploaded every second now. I did have a stat. I did do a documentary once where I had a stat and I was thinking that stat's going to be blown out of the water because things like with TikTok and everything, people try different things and it's crazy how much what different things go viral.
Yes.
The simplest idea can go viral. And then again, something that you pour hours and hours and hours of work might just miss the algorithm or whatnot. So I totally encourage it because it's so amazing seeing what people can do and where that could lead. Because there's so, I'm very jealous. I'm very jealous of the kind of content creators who have done they're just doing like Twitch streaming, and they're just like, I'll just play Minecraft and I'm getting millions of
billions of views.
Yeah, I was like,
good.
That's good. Yeah, good.
Anyway, moving on.
But it is so fascinating and seeing how those content creators evolve and influencers. There's a big emphasis on influencers. I think in our industry, I'd love to work with influencers because their impact on their audience. With brands go straight to influencers now. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy, and it doesn't. They don't even have to make content that takes hours and hours.
I've got a problem with this because we recently had a couple of chats and questions with family members, with children. What do you want to be when you grow up? It's like an influencer, and you're like. Yeah. Really? And the problem that I have with influencers is that they are walking such a tightrope.
So it could go wrong at any moment.
It can go wrong at any moment. And I think if memory serves me, the recent one was this very heavy influencer who picked up an Australian wombat and ran across the road with it or something. And she just went from massive, gone. Never hear of her anymore. And it's like, wow.
The levels that some content creators go just for views, it can be very scary.
It is, isn't it?
Putting health and other people at harm, or potential harm, or risk. Let's just put it as a risk. It's scary.
That's what
eating things that they're not meant to eat. There was that whole lockdown thing of eating products that meant to be going to a washing machine.
No,
don't do that. Don't do that just because it's a trend.
But it is worrying because I was speaking to the parents and they, back when me and you were a lad, it was almost like be careful and do this and that. But you wouldn't expect to do any of the trend.
No.
Not that I'm condoning any trending, but I think I read a BBC News this morning about tombstoning, where it was a trend to run off a pier and land flat in the water.
Wow.
And that was a trend until, very sadly, one person was completely disabled and paralysed. But he thought, when you speak to him, he was like, but it was a trend at the time and I just wanted to join the trend.
Such a shame.
It is a shame.
It's such a shame that people go to that length to just... Let's see if we get viral.
And that's what I'm saying. It is a knife edge. And, these parents are saying, gone are the days where, don't eat that, don't eat that. It's like, what's the current trend? And you have to sit the children down and go, this is not clever.
No.
It is not. And that's sadly, it's an aspect of the world we live in.
Totally.
But anyway, you spoke in the early part of the programme about how some of your tools are using AI and automation. How I'm a great believer of AI. I really think, and I'm using my code, and I've mentioned it numerous times on the podcast where it's helped me. How are you seeing AI help a professional, seasoned filmmaker as opposed to an indie filmmaker? Because me and Adam constantly I don't need you anymore. I can go into, let's assume Adobe Effects, please generate me a video that does blah, blah, blah. I don't need you anymore, Rob. So how do you feel about that?
So I think it's a very... Yeah, it's a very mixed topic, I think, in the creative industry. Like I said, little things that change the workflow, like generating subtitles. That's great because that's a thing that is a tedious task.
It is, isn't it?
Let's just skip that entirely.
Yeah.
I don't agree with when it's replacing creatives like soul, like voiceover artists, for example. And illustrators, these kind of things. There's definitely a line. There's definitely a line being crossed because people, certain things like the capture data. It's said that you can with 15 seconds of someone's voice, you can clone that voice.
I know, it's incredible.
And you can just create a voiceover just from that. That's quite scary.
It is
because there's people out there that take a living out of performance. It's even sort of bleeding into, well, you see online with like lots of AI like generated videos of famous actors and stuff. It's the uncanny valley sort of. It's sort of bleeding into that. I don't agree with that when it's sort of replacing a professional, like a proper creative's talent. But as a tool, I can understand it.
Yeah,
but there is the line's blurred.
It's wrong at the moment, and obviously we've spoken about this a lot. AI. I remember speaking to or reading a documentary, watching a documentary. Forgive me, about a guy who was making fake videos. And, well, why'd you do it? Well, why not? Yeah, but do you not realise the harm it causes? It doesn't cause me any harm.
Yeah, because depending on who watches it, depends who believes it.
Correct.
And it's quite dangerous because there was a big thing. I got it when there was rules about broadcasting. I got this from when I was on the TV and film course. There's rules on broadcasting where you couldn't show a news program full screen in a fictional program.
Right.
Because if someone turns on to a TV and switches over to Doctor Who and there's a full screen news report of Daleks flying in and destroying things, some people might believe that.
Oh, think War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a classic example of people believing that we're being invaded.
Yes, and so that's why there's rules being put. People ignore it now.
Yeah.
But rules where the TV had to be in shot, so that there's a separation to say this isn't real.
Yeah.
But that's just out the window now. It's like you all these reels and stuff about like fake reporters interviewing people. There's loads of them.
It's
absolutely
awful. I mean, some of them
are very realistic now.
They're very realistic. Some, I think some of the ones they're funny. But again, the downside is that somebody could take that one step too far.
Totally.
And again,
it will happen. It will happen. I think it's inevitable. There's gonna be a video out there that is gonna be too believable. That's gonna cause
something,
a national / worldwide turn, and it's gonna be.
The thing about human race, though, Rob, is that again, I'm trying to be careful, but hopefully you'll understand where I'm coming from. The human world needs something like a disaster for everybody to go, oh,
Yes.
oh, right, now hang on. We need, because we're all human in terms of creative thinking, open-mindedness. We're pushing the boundaries of AI, space, whatever it is. That's fine until we all go, ouch. We should not have done that. Hey, everybody, how can we learn?
And I think that's the point. I think that'll be the point where there'll be a total backlash on, like, say my industry. You know, the people are using AI to. I've seen it. People use fully AI videos to market their business. There'll be a point where they'll see that, and then a certain amount of community will have backlash on that because they're like, "You're using AI. You shouldn't be like. You should be supporting these people."
Yeah,
and it'll be frowned upon. And these big companies, I think when like a huge, like a quite a big name company uses it, I think that's when it'll be backlash because, there'll be. I think that's probably when these companies will say, yeah, we should probably not do that because we're getting more negative press than positive press.
Exactly. And I think the people who are harping on about AI, they're just asking for a few rules to be in place. We recently had the whole American Guild actors or whatever it was where they basically said, stop using AI. But there is everything. So 2 weeks ago I had Rob on.
There'll be a point of like when people have to copyright their own face or likeness.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I think that's already
it's already doing it. Yeah. But I had Rob on from Bitcoin, and he was saying that the one thing that he loved about the video AI is he now says, I don't believe any video.
Yes.
Which is a good thing,
yes,
but also a sad thing because I'm like, well, you know, back in the days,
what can you trust?
What can you trust?
Yeah.
So nowadays, I watch a video and always in the back of my mind,
you're always like sort of inspecting it, like what's. Yes, that person. That person had 6 fingers.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so just double checking on the time. Yeah. A couple of nice, fun questions.
Okay.
If you could collaborate with any filmmaker, living or dead, who would it be?
Other filmmakers, so like other like sort of directors.
You know, the Steven Spielbergs or whatever like that.
I'd like to collaborate with Edgar Wright.
Yeah,
I always love the Cornetto trilogy, as it's called. I absolutely love those. Those are the kind of films that I can watch on repeat.
Yeah.
And I love his style of directing, like how he approaches. I think Matthew Vaughn as well, who did the Kingsman films.
Yes.
Their approach to action, I think it's amazing. There's elements of that in some of my personal projects that I'm like trying to emulate that sort of style. I think it's just so visually pleasing. I'd love to collaborate with those kind of people.
Just talking offside, have you watched the John Wick movies?
I've started to. My wife's getting me into that.
Okay. Well, one of the things, I'm not going to spoil the storyline, but one of the movies, it turns from sort of like what you would expect a normal action movie to be. So you're watching me or somebody fighting, whatever. It turned to be a top-down, almost like the original GTA.
Yes.
So you could see John Wick like jumping through windows, but it was all from top down. So the question is, I looked at that and thought, that's clever.
It's trying something different.
It's trying something different. Have you seen something recently where you've thought, that's clever, I'd like to try and utilise that?
Yeah, I love it when programmers, films attempt to do a lot of stuff in one shot.
Yeah.
I think, I haven't seen the full series yet, but there's one clip that's gone quite far in this, I think it's The Severance.
Right.
Where they film it all in one shot.
Wow.
And sometimes that actually in Kingsman, in the film Kingsman, if anyone's seen the church sequence in Kingsman,
yes, I have, yeah. Where he goes mad because he goes
absolutely mad, yeah. That was, if you watch it, it's meant to be like a running shot.
Yes.
So it keeps on going. But there's little transitions, like when someone passes the camera, where the highlights,
I love it.
And stuff.
I absolutely love that.
Because I watch out for those kind of things. But I think that those are well done, and the choreography.
Yeah,
I do appreciate those films for the choreography because it's like there's so much time that's gone into plotting every single thing. I love the time.
That church scene that you're talking about, it's really good because I remember, I can visualise now, the transition to when somebody's doing something and then the camera spins, you see from the other angle and he carries
rapid
on.
Pace
it's
as well.
Superbly done, isn't it?
Amazing. Yeah.
So do you get any like sense of excitement and then do you suddenly go, I want to do that.
Totally.
Right.
Absolutely. I think my wife sort of gets annoyed with me because whenever we go to the cinema, I'm like, she can tell I'm analysing stuff. Like, yes, inspiration.
Yes, exactly. Will you just watch the film?
Watch the film. Analysing. Oh, they did that shot to represent...
Shut up.
I'm trying to watch it. But yeah, so I overanalyse films. It does take me a lot to sort of sit back and sort of say, escapism. Yeah. I'm just enjoying this universe.
I had the same thing with Michelle, bless her. We watching a film, and it could be a thriller, it could be a whodunit or something.
Yeah.
And she's already guessed who it is, and I'm going, I don't care. I just want the film to happen to me. And she always does that moment where I go, oh, it was him. And she's like, I had that an hour ago. I'm like, I don't care. I just love letting the film happen to me.
Yeah, totally. No, it's really. I'll sort of say this briefly, but like, it's always nice when something you're very, very passionate about sort of comes back at you in later in life. And I think I meant, well, yes, of course I mentioned it. I said TARDIS Dalek also. So one of my big inspirations for starting filmmaking was Doctor Who.
Nice.
And luckily enough, later on in my career, lockdown, if anything, when I was not busy doing much at all, I did have the opportunity to do some work for Doctor Who.
Wow.
Which was a bit of a full circle moment, but it was. I mean, it was just like a sort of volunteer sort of thing.
Yeah, but even so.
But I did some shorts for what was called Doctor Who Lockdown.
Right.
And that was so exciting. It was nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Because I popped a message to one of the people organising it, and said, I noticed you've gotten some like volunteers and fans involved. Just popped a message on LinkedIn. Just if you need any help with anything, just give me a shout. Here's my VFX reel. And then they came back at me, said, well, actually, there is something. And before I knew it, I had a script off Stephen Moffat and a voice clip from one of the main actors. I was thinking,
right,
okay,
that's nice.
well, this is a nice time to nice bit of time in lockdown to spend on this.
Yeah,
and that was, I'd love more opportunities like that. Yeah. But just show how making content and just being involved in what you're passionate about.
Oh God, absolutely.
It could reflect and amazing opportunities come out of it.
That's fantastic. Fantastic. What's one thing you wish more people would understand about visual effects?
Ooh. The time that goes into it.
Do you know what? That's when I was reading reading this and I'm like, that's exactly what I do. Somebody looks at my script and go, "That's fantastic, thanks," and I'm like,
the amount of time. There's certain if you watch some of my content like that I've done for myself, there's shots there that last, especially with like the fast paced stuff.
Yeah,
the shots that last a second, 2 seconds. I could be spending hours on that.
Yeah,
there's so much time into it, and like. I'm learning even more patience with like 3D modeling and everything, because there's a 4-second clip that literally took 12, 15 hours to render. So I was like,
yeah.
But it's so much patience learning it, and I suppose there's more time put into it because I'm such a perfectionist with my work that it's like there's so much time, and patience is the thing I've learned above anything with visual effects. Yeah.
So that led me on to my next question.
Yeah.
Because, as you quite rightly said, 14, 15 hours worth of just rendering, not even taking into account the time that you've got, well, how do I want it to look?
Yeah.
You must be spending like hours and hours and hours to do a 4 or 5 second clip.
Totally.
How do you stay excited? How do you stay inspired? Because you sat there going, well, that's 4 seconds done. I do the same with my scripting, where it's like so much time, and it is so rewarding at the end.
Yeah.
But I'm like, wow, I've sank hours and hours and hours into this. So I try to keep myself inspired by going, well, that's new. I've learned it now. So how do you keep yourself inspired?
I think I'm with my storytelling, especially with my personal projects. It's when I'm very passionate about a story, I listen to like the music that inspired me. I know an idea is good when I'm still passionate about it months later.
Yeah.
There's not all ideas are like that.
No, they're not.
There's some ideas where I've thought I'm really passionate about this, but a month later it's like, you know what? No, I could put my time better. So there's projects that I've been planning for years that I still listen to the music and think, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's so satisfying when you see it. It's the amount of satisfaction that comes out of A, getting it finished, and then B, getting the response.
Yeah.
I love one of the bits I love about filmmaking is seeing someone watch it and sort of seeing their reaction, and then it just feels so nice when they watch it and they're getting the reaction that I was intending.
Absolutely.
But yes, it's just like sort of sticking with the idea, like with the TARDIS Blender projects. That I knew that this was something that I was passionate about, and I could see it. I could see the progress over time, and I was just excited to see. Oh, this is gonna look so great when it's finished. And I'm like that with a lot of projects. It's like
you've got
seeing the finish line, but sort of seeing how it's progressing. It's just very satisfying. I think when it's something you're passionate about, it's so satisfying seeing progress, even if it's tiny little bits of progress at a time. I think going back to patience, it's like I know I'm going to get there.
Yeah.
It's just putting that work in.
Yeah, no, definitely. So take all of those thoughts, and apologies. It is a cliched question, but I do try and hopefully for our listeners and viewers, if they're interested in getting into your industry, give it just a couple of tips. I've picked up the camera.
Yeah.
The thing, what would you say to them apart from don't do it unless you're passionate?
Yeah.
I've had some of my friends have tried to start a business and a hobby about something that they're not passionate about. I'm like, why?
Why? No, it's not
don't even start doing that. So just give us your insight.
I think the main word is experiment.
Right.
Some things will work, some things won't, but you won't know until you try.
Yeah.
Pick up a camera, try different things, try and replicate things that you've been inspired by. Turn write ideas down.
Yeah.
Just get stuff written down. If you'll find ideas that you're passionate about and you want to try and take further, and just experiment with it. Because that's how I started. The first the magic show video that I did, that was literally just a test basically. Just seeing, it was such a simple idea.
Yes.
Such a simple idea, and just running with it, and then just after you've done that, see how you can improve, and just work from that. Challenge yourself, and try different things. Don't be afraid to do a bit of variety. Try different genre type films.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, one of the films I did, which I'll probably never do again, but I experimented with a bit of film noir.
Okay,
whilst I was at uni. I did a bit of a sort of surrealist type film, and I think one of the things, going back to the showing over telling, is try and tell a story without telling a story.
Now
Show
there's it. That's a skill within itself.
Yeah, that's probably a challenge I'd set people.
Yeah.
See if you can tell a story without uttering a word.
Yeah.
Because I think when you can do that, you can probably do anything. I'd probably say it's like that's the skill to have. You want to show your story rather than tell it.
Yeah.
Obviously, you get dialogue supports that. There's a lot of content out there that's very dialogue heavy. Arguably, the likes of Doctor Who, likes of modern films, very dialogue heavy. That could have been shown somehow. So it's been experimental. Try different angles. See how your different camera angles can portray someone. If there's little things like if you're holding a camera low down and looking up at someone, they've got power.
Yes.
If you're looking down on someone, they sort of seem weak.
Yeah.
There's little things, and then just study. Look at films from a bit of a subjective point
like you're
of view.
doing.
Like I do.
And get your wife going, will you just watch the film?
Just watch films and sort of see, just sort of analyze it a little. Have a little bit more analyzing.
No, but one of the things, I don't know this question. I don't know the answer to this question. Are you a gamer?
Yes.
Right. So I don't know whether you know this game, but I played a game, and I've replayed it recently, called Limbo.
Yes.
Doesn't utter a word.
No.
It's music.
It's explorative and stuff.
It's explorative. When that whole spider's leg comes first, does that twitchy thing.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
Oh God, run.
Such a good game.
The game doesn't utter one word.
No.
It's it's even black and white. That's all it is.
That's the tense side of it, isn't it?
And that's what I'm getting at. When you were explaining that, I could hear your passion, and I just triggered my memory going limbo. Just black, white, and just what a game.
There's so many games out there that are perfect storytelling tools.
Yeah, and some are narrative, but some, like Limbo, not one word is uttered.
No.
And it's a beautiful, beautiful game.
Totally.
It really is.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's really good in terms of that, Rob. That's an hour gone. Right, okay. So, no, hey, honestly, really, really good. Thank you for pouring training.
No problem.
It's been excellent listening to your enthusiasm, listening to your projects. That's really, really, really good.
That's been great.
Where can people find out about you and get in touch, and if they want to work with you?
Yeah. So you can find me at RobCam Productions. So we're on Instagram, Facebook, all that sort of things. We've also got our own podcast, Any Business,
good,
which is sort of same vein. Find out about business people. We're going to continue that later this year.
Excellent.
But yeah, RobCam Productions is the main thing. If you want to sort of see my personal projects, you can search RobCam videos on YouTube. So you can sort of see a bit more of me, a bit more of the stuff that I love making. But then head over to RobCam Productions when you want to see stuff that I've helped other people. I think the main thing is I love telling stories, whether that's my own or telling someone else's story.
Actually, I've missed a question out there. Have you got any exciting projects coming up that you can tell us about?
Well, I'm a big fan of the Flash.
Oh,
the
yes.
DC series, The Flash, the TV series, not the film.
Yes.
So I'm doing a bit of a fan film about that, which hopefully that's one of the ideas that's like I had it in 5 years ago, but I'm still passionate about it now.
Yeah.
So obviously breaking my leg didn't help.
No.
Doing
Why
a
did you
story
do that?
about. So I broke my leg in an acting thing. Took the acting phrase break a leg too literally for that.
Seriously.
But that was one of the opportunities where I was like actually just acting in a film.
Yeah.
It was weird taking a step back.
Because you acted the other side of it.
I do, yeah. So usually when I did my films, I'm usually both sides, filming and acting. But I actually took a step back, acted in the film, and then when I took a step forward, broke my leg.
So well done you.
I'll do that again.
No,
it was fun.
Please. What, breaking your leg was fun?
Oh, it was really fun. It was really fun. No, but the experience was great up to that point.
Yeah, I can imagine it was.
But so projects like my fan film projects, I'll still continue doing those.
How do you fit the time in with customers and then do your own fan-based things?
I don't know. The thing I don't switch off. I think that's my thing. As soon as I've done a client project, when I go home, I do game quite regularly.
Yeah.
But even then, I'm creating content because I stream. Yeah. I don't have a million views or anything like that. I'm not I'm not at that stage
yet.
Not salty. But I'm always making content.
Right.
I think the itch is too strong to make content. If it's like quite a quiet time in business, summer holidays or like Christmas time. I think Christmas time is probably the time that I'm creating my own content. People just sort of say, "Where's Rob?" and then he just appears at Christmas.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't switch off, and any opportunity I can, I make content.
Good for you, my friend. Good for you. Yeah. Well, again, thank you so much for that. We always end the podcast in what you're doing for the weekend.
Ooh. Well, I'm speaking of like streaming and stuff. We're actually redecorating my games/stream room.
Nice.
Because I'm hoping towards the end of the year that's going to be a bit more upgraded. Because I kind of want to make that a bit more professional.
Yeah.
At the moment, I'm just streaming like through PlayStation, but I've seen like a lot of content creators. They're quite, they do nice transitions, nice graphics and stuff like that. I want to kind of get more into that because that's showing me more off.
Yes.
I think I've been quite restricted with my streaming, so I want to get my creative side out on that platform as well.
Yeah, so, I do. I play a lot of, God, I've forgotten the word now, Factorio. There's a guy, Nilaus, and he does, if you look at some of his early YouTube streaming, it's good, it's informative, it teaches you what to do. Look at his later stuff, and you can see that he's bit of a snazzy graphics and there's a bit this and that. So again, that you want to get side to that.
Yeah, but there's obviously a little bit of cost into that to get to that point. But it's an investment.
That's what the case is. It's definitely so.
Business expense.
I'm sure you could do that. I'm sure you can do that. Well, my weekend is going to consist of for my 50th, I got a racing rig, which is a full. You could do the whole seat where you could put it backwards and forth. Yeah. 17 years of playing with it, I actually sold it. But I got my use out of it. It's fantastic. Yeah. But now in my games room, I want to put a full bench in it, table, whereas I used to just sit in the racing to play my games, or it had a beautiful table that you could swing out. But what that meant was I was always sat without a full desk. I was always just sat on a tiny table looking up at the screen. Yeah. So I've decided that I'm going to go back and put a full computer desk in. I'm going to raise the telly slightly up and tilt it so I can lean back and play my games when I'm doing that. But then when I've got a first person with my monitor, I've got the full desk.
Fantastic.
So, as usual, that was my idea. Then my wife said, well, while we're doing that, we can rip the carpet up and varnish the floor. Right, okay then.
One thing after another. So we're both upgrading the setup this weekend.
We're both upgrading the setup this weekend. Okay, so that's good. But Rob, thank you so much, my friend.
Not a problem. It's been a pleasure.
Really, really good. So thanks. Thank you. Hopefully everybody enjoys their weekend. See you later, everybody. Bye.